Twilight had concentrated so hard her eyeballs started to shut and hurt. Slowly, like a tentacle dripping off a cold spoon, the air in front of her started to shimmer. She strained, leaning towards it until she realized she was about to topple over and righted herself. The air rippled the way deep water did after some pony threw a pebble, radiating outwards from a central point that had her horn glowing bright purple. "Come on," she muttered. "I know this is possible." The ripples sped up. She felt more than she saw the tiny change. It galvanized into her to push even harder, the tendons in her neck standing out as she balanced between using too much magic and too little. Too little and the experiment wouldn't work at all. Too much she might accidentally wreck everything in her immediate area. At least that was one possibility. She wasn't 100% sure what would happen if she used too much magic, but given the unknown creature island lines, she wasn't keen to find out. She had built up to using this much by process of careful, consistent tests, always stopping before she went too far and noting her progress so she could get a little further next time. Finally, when the air vibrated like a plucked cello string and her horn began to hurt in the earnest, she gave up. Letting go of her hold on the line was easier than taking hold in the first place, and soon she sat on the grass, breathing hard but pleased with herself. "How much was that?" Spike stood already with a quill of paper. 16 units. "That's 4 more than last time." She nodded. "What can I say? I was feeling daring. Rainbow Dash must be rubbing off of me." "I don't think it's her sort of thing, daring. She's more into dangerous stunts with storm clouds and stuff like that." Twilight pouted just a little. Maybe her sort of daring wasn't as entertaining as Rainbow Dash's, but it was still pretty gutsy. Investigating eye lines is too dangerous too. Not if you do it right. Which is why if any pony was going to do these experiments, I'm glad it's you. You don't get impatient and take stupid risks. What would be the point? You can't learn anything from being impatient. Tell that to Rainbow Dash. Spike scratched away at their notes, but looked up to see her give an knowing look. I don't think she'd be very interested in this sort of thing. Sitting still isn't really her specialty. I guess not. Twilight looked at the spots that she had been working on. It looked perfectly normal now, not even a flicker to indicate the magical channel that ran there, invisible to the naked eye and imperable to anyone who wasn't specially trying to access it. Her brows pulled together in a worried expression. "Do you think any other pony other than me would find this interesting?" "Princess Celestia," Spike offered, "or Princess Luna." "Other than them." Celestia's letter had been encouraging when Twilight wrote to tell her about her plans to map and then research the usability of eyeline magic as a side project onto her regular studies. It stood to reason that her sister would be interested too, given all the other progress in magical research that had happened during her long absence. Luna sometimes wrote to Twilight asking her questions of the things that Twilight, as a student, as a history of magical arts, it was only pleased to answer. Ever since Nightmare Night, they had kept up a sporadic correspondence on things, ranging from friendship to transubstantiation spells, although Luna had to take up Twilight's offer to visit Ponyville again. "Do you think my work is boring?" "No," Spike said empathetically, although he wouldn't meet her eyes. "I don't. You don't either. Which is the most important thing, right?" She smiled at his attempt to reassure her without admitting that her love to careful study and the paperwork that went with it was dull. "Right." Spike's stomach rumbled. "But interesting as it is, could we break and go back to town for lunch now?" Twilight got up and turned to look down on the town. This hillock was perfect for her needs, and it was also offered to a wonderful view of Ponyville and its inhabitants that reminded her in the way that she was glad to have moved here, even if she had resisted it at first. "Deal. Now are you gals all sure you'll be all right?" Rarity resisted the urge to roll her eyes. "Honestly, Mother, you fuss too much. We'll be perfectly fine." Her mother remained unconvinced. "Are you sure?" "Yes." Sure as sugar? Mother! Humor me, honey. Yes, mother. I'm sure as sugar. Sure as shadeberries? Sure as shadeberries. Sure as sheepdogs? Sure as sheepdogs. Sure as shuffleboard? Mother, I'm sure we'll be fine. Rarity's molars ground together. She loved her parents to pieces. Honestly, she did. But the fact that it remained that they were a collection of quirks, wrapped antagonists that had still, though she often found it hard to stomach. Did her mother think she was just a little filly who enjoyed these kinds of word games? Sweetie Belle stopped in before her sister did, something drastic. Their mother's lower lip already looked wobbly. We'll have the best time ever, Mom. You don't need to worry about a thing. I love staying with Rarity. You certainly could camp out at her place often enough, said their father. He turned to his wife. Come on, honey bunch. The train's about to leave. If we don't get on now, our luggage will get into your mother's without us. Bye, girls. Their mother pulled each other off of them to a plant-wet kiss on the tips of their horns. We'll be back before you know it. The display of affection softened Rarity towards her mother's annoying habits. Even if it did spit on her horn, she showed great affection to herself, not immediately summoning a handkerchief to wipe it away. Take care, Mother. You too, Father. He shook his head. Mother? Father? When did the plan of old Mom and Dad get so unfashionable? Bye, Daddy. Sweetie Belle jumped around Rarity like Opal with a mousetrap on her tail. Excitement crackled like electricity around her. Don't worry about a thing. Give our love to Grandma. Their father smiled, soon turned away, and he and his mother-in-law had quite never seen eye to eye. Will do, Dumpling. Daddy, I'm not a dumpling. Sure thing, Dumpling. Rarity breathed a sigh of relief as the train finally pulled away. Moving out and starting their own business had been hard, but she never regretted that decision. Standing up, she allowed Sweetie Belle to bounce around once more. Then she descended the steps of the platform with all grace and dignity she had cultivated since getting out from under her mother's loving but tasteless influence. Hey, Rarity. Yes, she looked around. Sweetie Belle had apparently not followed her off the platform. She turned to see her little sister standing pensively at the top. Yes, Sweetie Belle? This isn't going to be like the last time Mommy and Daddy left me to stay with you, is it? Why, what do you ever mean? She defied innocence, even though she knew precisely what Sweetie Belle was referring to. You're not going to go. I'll mean because you're stressed out about your work, or yell at me, or pack me off to stay with some pony else while you sue, are you? Of course not. I said we'd spend the week together, so spend the week together we shall. Promise? Well, I do have some work to do. Sweetie Belle's face fell. But I can do that while you're at school. Oh, she brightened. I didn't think of that. Plus, I'm sure you'll want to spend your time with your friends as well. I guess so. Good. Rarity nodded in the opposite direction. Because they're standing over there, and I think they want your attention. Really? Sweetie Belle bended down the steps so fast she nearly tumbled over herself. Rarity steadied her and brushed the dust off of her white coat. Really, Sweetie Belle's pastel color scheme was striking down when one thought of it. Not as beautiful as her own, of course, but then a few ponies had such a fine balance between light and dark without going any totally monochrome. When she grew up, Sweetie Belle had the potential to be a truly stunning mare. Just be home for dinner, she said, tucking one pink curl behind her sister's ear before releasing her. And try not to get dirty, or break anything expensive, or get in trouble, or cause chaos in the meaning of finding your cutie mark, or... Relax, Rarity. Sweetie Belle gave her a smile and bright as the sun itself. I'll be fine, she winked. Sure as sugar. Rarity groaned. Don't you start that again. You worry too much. You'll see nothing bad is going to happen. This is going to be the bestest best week ever. Cupcakes, so sweet and tasty. Cupcakes, don't be so hasty. Cupcakes, so sweet and tasty. Cupcakes, don't be hasty. Cupcakes, so sweet and... Mr. Cake swiped a hoof across his brow, knocking his hat askew. Pinkie Pie, you have a lovely voice, but do you mind singing a little softer? I've counted this bill 3 times because I keep getting it wrong. He indicated to the pair of ponies engaged in a conversation on the shop floor, They clearly weren't paying attention to him. Hence his mistakes had gone unnoticed. Pinkie Pie was unabashed. "Okie dokie, Loki," she warbled. "Sorry, Mr. Cake." It's fine. I guess I'm just getting old. I used to be able to add 2 sets of 6-digit numbers together in my head in a snap." He tapped his front hooves together to indicate how quickly his math skills used to be. "I think one too many sleepless nights with the twins is making me fuggier than I thought. It's a good thing you were available to help out with this order. Thanks again, by the way." "No problem," Pinkie beamed. "You and Mrs. Cake are my friends, so of course I always have time for you. Besides," she giggled, "I get to make cupcakes with words on them. Can you believe it? Words on cupcakes? Like a book you can eat, only shorter and tastier. It's indicious." Mr. Cake smiled indulgently, although his gaze kept flicking back to the Earth Pony and Unicorn, whose money he had yet to take. The Earth Pony was still eyeballing the scorching shade of orange, in a complete contrast to her companion's slate gray coat and black mane. His horn glowed as he levitated a pencil and notepad, furiously scribbled down everything she said. "Hey, Mr. Cake." "Yes, Pinkie Pie?" "I've made a baker dozen on each batch, so I have loads left over." "That's fine. If you haven't written on them yet, we'll just put them in display case for some pony else to buy." "Not this one." Proudly she presented him with a perfectly decorated cupcake. The soft pink sponge had risen just to the right height inside the proper paper case, and she had topped it with vanilla icing in an equally perfect swirl. Nobody in all of Ponyville could beat Pinkie Pie's perfect cupcake skills. On top of this one, however, she had painstakingly spelled out a message in vermicelli pieces: "Mr. Cake can really bake." Mr. Cake's expression softened as much as the pat of butter he had mistakenly left out earlier. Pinkie had replaced in the refrigerator before the summer sun, shining through the shop window, could turn it into a big, replaced, drippy, gloopy, messy mess. Thanks to the big ovens back in the shop, was rarely cool despite the fans constantly being switched on. "Pinkie Pie, this is really sweet of you," said Mr. Cake. "Usually I can't stand to even look at the sweet treats by the time I've closed up the shop each day, but I can never resist your cupcakes. I made one for Mrs. Cake and Pound and Pumpkin, too." Pinkie smiled. "For when they get home from the playgroup. Did you think that thing getting sorted out with little blue Unicorn and Pumpkin?" Mr. Cake winced. He often did recalling his prodigy twins and their escape pads. His mother was always willing to forget the damages to the stroller if we give her a complimentary birthday cake for her other son. "Damages?" Pinkie stuck out her tongue and blew a huge raspberry. "It was even more damages. Pumpkin really managed to mangle that thing till the other fool stole her toy. It was amazing." She caught up Mr. Cake's expression and straightened. But bad. Really, really bad. And inappropriate and wicked." She dropped her forelegs into a crouch, wiggling her tail in the air as a reprised glee. "But so totally amazingly, awesomely cool to see." "Yes, well," Mr. Cake trailed off, as 2 customers' voices increased in volume. At least the orange pony's voice got louder. The gray pony kept on writing without looking up. "This is taking forever. This cupcake idea, whose was it?" The gray unicorn flipped a few pages back. "That would be the songbird, madam. She felt it would strengthen the image to have ponies associate with you with something sweet." "I understand the thinking behind it, Gray Cloud," the orange pony snapped. "Who's songbird?" "PR Unicorn." At her blank expression, the gray stallion went on. "Yellow coat, variegated green mane and tail, kidney mark of a songbird." She rolled up her eyes. "She set up a meeting with her. If this goes well during the door-to-door canvassing, I want her to come up with something similar for the public debate. We need to show up in competition and really get my image in front and center." She stamped her hoof for emphasis. The gray unicorn nodded and scribbled. "Right away, madam." "Dad, what is taking so long? They're just cupcakes, for pity's sake. How can it be hard to get them ready and done before every pony dies of an old age?" She sighed and came back towards the counter. With each each step her scowl melted away, and an innocent smile took its place. It was about as real as Pinkie Pie's chicken wings had been on Nightmare Night. "Hi there, are my cupcakes ready yet? My secretary called an order quite a while ago." Indeed, madame," agreed Mr. Cake, "but it was probably a pretty big order and pretty short notice, and as you could see, we're running on skeleton staff today." "Silly," Pinkie called from her workstation. "Skeletons can't run, but if they did, they'd all be, 'Ah, skeleton!' And they'd be all, 'Ooga booga.' I'm a skeleton, and I'll be like, 'Hey, how are you moving when you don't have muscles or anything?' They'd all be..." "So it'll be done soon?" the orange pony interrupted, pointedly not looking in Pinkie's direction. Pinkie jutted her lower lips. "Rude much? Oh well, cupcakes, so sweet and tasty. Cupcakes don't be so hasty. Whoops, sorry," she continued to whisper. "Cupcakes, so sweet and tasty. Cupcakes, don't be too hasty." "Real soon, madame," promised Mr. Cake, "baked and boxed beautifully, just as the sign says." He gestured to a rectangular card on which had slogan had been lovingly hoof-written by Mrs. Cake. Earth ponies were skillful at writing. It had taken her several laborious hours to get the calligraphy just right. The orange mare barely glanced at the sign. "I'm handing them out to ponies, you see, so each one tends to be perfect. You did spell my name, right? Didn't you? I have your note right here." Pinkie waved aloft paper. "Vote for Foxhound, right?" The orange pony turned and a shade lighter. "Foxglove. Vote for Foxglove." "Oops, I guess I'll have to start all these over again." Pinkie Wicked winked melodramatically at the trio of aghast faces. "Kidding, man. Did the heat melt your sense of humor or something?" Mr. Cake breathed an audible sigh of relief. The order had consisted of nearly 100 cupcake boxes in 12, each box compressing of different combination of sponge, icing, and writing method. Personally, Pinkie thought that the strawberry sponge and raspberry icing and pink sugar strands words were the best, but she had done her darnest to make all the other combinations perfect too. She had even mixed up a special batch of orange sponge and citrus icing. Even though the balance was of sweet to sour, was really difficult to pull off, and had spelt out the orange pony's message in silvers of candied orange peel. She had bounced off and presented both customers with spares destined for her friends and neighbors. Mr. and Mrs. Cake always let her take home the surplus stock they couldn't sell, and since the message was so specific, they wouldn't be able to just pluck these in display cabinet. "Here you go," she trailed off. "Complimentary samples. Orange for you, Miss Foxglove, and white for you, Mr. Grey Cloud." Thank you," he muttered, accepting it like it was one of Pound's nasty diapers. "I had to give you the white ice instead of gray to match your coat," Pinkie explained. "I tried to make gray icing once, and it turned out so totally yucca-rooney that not even I wanted to eat it. And that's really saying something, because I really, really, really like cupcakes. When I invented it, a special breakfast cupcake so ponies who like cupcakes as much as me can eat them in the morning as well as any other time of day, it's always been a good time to eat cupcakes. I always say, don't I always say that, Mr. Cake?" The orange pony looked meaningful at him. "Is she always like this?" "Like what?" Pinkie stepped between them and rested her elbows on the countertop. Her front hooves were still smeared from different colored icing, which had gotten on her face, and she rested her chin on them and leaned forward, smiling and happy. "Because if that was what you're asking, then yes. Hey, how come you want ponies to vote for you? Is it a beauty pageant? My friend Rarity was talking about one in the midsummer 50. Are you entering?" She gasped and jiggled from hoof to hoof. Ooh, you two should totally meet if you are. She'd really love to come up with an outfit for a color like yours, and she can make your mane really, really, really pretty. She's always been trying to convince me to let her brush my mane, but I never keep still long enough. And besides, my hair does tend to eat hairbrushes and stuff like that. I once lost 3 pairs of scissors when I was trying to cut the gem out of it. The orange pony backed away. Cupcake and Hoof and a foreleg wrapped around protectively around her long brown mane. Like if she was frightened, Pinkie Pie would magically summon the lost scissors and vault to the counter to use them on her. We'll come back in an hour. Will the order be ready by then? Oh, sure, Pinkie replied before Mr. Cake could. Baked and boxed and beautiful. You should go visit Rarity at the Carousel Boutique in the meantime. She stopped when the doorbell shop dingled, signaling that the two ponies' departure. Rude much times two? Pinkie? Yes, Mr. Cake? He looked down at her shining, eager face and sighed. Nothing. We better get this order filled out. Ron, I'll get the order filled. You get the bill sorted, remember? Oh, yes, of course. Pinkie blew back a lock of wind from her pink mane in her face. Baby brain. Honestly, Mr. Cake, what would you do without me around to look after you?
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.